Bang! Neeves Knives. I'm Jared, and we are going to see who did it best this year. We have a bunch of categories, and we're going to go through them and see which company did what best. Now, don't forget, we have best budget knives and best knives of the year coming up soon, so watch out for that video. Let's get into this one. So, who did MICARTA the best this year? Well, in my opinion, it was Kaiser. Kaiser knocked it out of the park with their USA MICARTA. It's so soft. It's exactly the way I personally want my MICARTA. I want it to have a lot of texture. I want it to be able to feel the fibers and see all the fibers. They also had some MICARTA like this, which it literally feels like you're holding on to fabric. I love it. It has such a good texture, nice and warm. They also came out with that same MICARTA, basically in a red. Well, they have one very similar to this, but they just finished it differently. So this one's finished a little differently, but it's basically the same MICARTA, just a red version. But they also have this exact version in the red MICARTA as well. So they came out with some colors, but all of their new MICARTA is done so good. I absolutely love it. So Kaiser is the one who got best MICARTA of the year. Next, who did the best grinds, heat treat, and geometry of the year? And that would be Civivi or We Knives, Sencut Knives, the same company. I always say this: if you ever want to sharpen a knife and you want to learn how to sharpen, start with the Civivi. You're guaranteed their grinds are so even from one side to another. They're so good, and they do nice deep hollow grinds that are super thin. Their knives are made to cut, and that's what knives are for. Knives are made for cutting, and they do an incredible job with their geometry. And like I said, the grinds are even from one side to another. Now, another reason why they won this is because they're 14C28N this year. I'm glad that, one, that they're using 14C28N on their budget knives, but two, they're heat treating it so good. They're doing such a good job with it, and I was very impressed when I did a controlled cut test with their 14C28N. And, you know, aside from that, their grinds are just so good. You know, I love seeing grinds that are just done so well. I mean, these are cutting objects, so that is a very important thing to me. Let's get to the next subject, our next category. Most innovative, Demco. And, you know, I'm sure he wins this in a lot of years in a row. The Demco AD20 and 20.5 with the Shark Lock. It's a new locking mechanism that is incredibly strong, that it has similar strength to the Triad lock, but it's very fidgety, very fun to use, very easy to flick and deploy, and it basically takes the strength of a Triad lock and makes it way easier to deploy and close and get back in the pocket. Well, after coming out with his AD20, he came out with the 20.5, and the 20.5 has a similar locking mechanism, just on a better budget. Now, I'm not a massive fan of this particular knife. I mean, it's good, it's okay. I wasn't that big on the heat treat they did on their AUS 10, but I love the big dog, and I think he does an incredible job. And, you know, we got to give Andrew Demco props. He's very innovative and does incredible locking mechanisms. Next, DETENTS. Who killed it on the DETENTS? Kubi. Kubi got DETENTS of the year. Their DETENTS are so well tuned, and personally, from my experience, all their new designs, and they recently just dropped even more designs, they are so consistently good. I've just noticed that they all have such a nice strong break while also being very smooth on the drop, and I can't deny that I have not gotten one with a bad detent. Now, also, they've seemed to have been very consistent across the board. Even when I felt multiples, they were really, really good and just super, super well tuned. And I got to give them credit for it. Kubi did a fantastic job this year with their they always did a really good job with their detents, but man, they really, really perfected it this year, especially on their budget knives. Now, Kaiser also did a very good job with their detents, so I don't want to, I don't want to take them out of the equation. Their detents are also super, super amazing, and on some models, on certain models, even better than Kubi. But Kubi has consistently across the board had amazing detents. In Kaiser's, I did feel some variables in between certain models. Some were stronger than others, but for the most part, I mean, Kaiser knocked it out of the park as well. Now, the next category is who did the best dropping action, who was the smoothest, and that goes to Kaiser. Kaiser knocked it out of the park. It's like their knives are on air. It's literally like they are riding on air. Even their little tiny knives, it's just crazy how smooth these knives are. I mean, I can take the Dialorme. This is a super light blade, and it is complete fall shut action. It's crazy how smooth these things are. And like I said, yeah, it's like they're riding on air. Now, some people say that sometimes they can feel the bearings rolling, and I understand there are a few models that do that, but one thing you got to give them credit for is they have weight relieved the entire opposite side of the blade. So the tang of the blade or the ricasso, they have weight relieved all of this area, making it blade heavy so that it is incredibly, incredibly smooth. Next, who did the best bang for your buck? So the best you can spend your money on. And in this category, it is very hard to deny Kubi. Kubi gives you titanium frame lock knives, beautiful carbon fiber, super steels, budget steels. You can get S90V, M390, 14C28N. I think they're having a little trouble getting 14C right now, so some of their models are using D2, but for under $150. I mean, you can get some of these models for well under. Like, there's some that have M390 that you can get for $90. Full titanium, full carbon fiber, amazing action. Now, some of the models, I admit, I don't like either. Like, there are a lot of models I do not prefer. But the few that I do are so good that I just cannot deny their build quality, their amazing action on those specific knives, and just how good a quality they are. Now, yes, that might only be a handful out of 100, but that handful out of 100 is so amazing. So, gotta give them credit in 2021. Now, I will say this. Asher knives, I do want to make an honorable mention because they should be on this list. The problem is they can be a bit difficult to get. Now, they are dropping knives, I think, this weekend, but they sell out very quick. So keep your eye open for them. That is another company that just knocked it out of the park this year and is the best bang for your buck. It's just they can be difficult to get. So knives like this under $100, S35VN, full titanium. They even have an M390 model coming out for like $95 or something like that. That's incredible. But for, between 70 and $85, I mean, you can't beat their knives. They're just such great carries, very easy to carry, great detents, great lockups, great action, fit and finish is really good, and just overall great quality knives for the money. Very hard to beat. And they definitely have a great bang for your buck. The thing is, though, like I said, they can be difficult to get. They are done in small batches. He's one guy, and he's working really hard, so give him credit, but watch out for his drop coming up. But Asher Knives did make The category, or one category, best new knife of the year. Best new knives of the year, Asher knives. Now, I know they came out like last year, but regardless, I think that they still deserve the best new knives. Now, there is a couple other companies that I'd like to throw in this too, but I just never got them, so I can't consider them. But one other company I am going to use this, so we're going to do two in this category, is MICARTA knives. MICARTA knives has been working really hard and producing some really, really good models. They have a few that I just absolutely love, like this one right here. And, Asher and MICARTA knives did a really good job, and I'm going to give them best new knife companies of the year, even though they both have been out for the past 2 years. I didn't get my hands onto MICARTAs until this year, and Asher knives, just started last year. So we'll give it to them anyways. Best front flippers. MICARTA knives. MICARTA knocked it out of the park with, even Kara grabbed a hold of this and went to flip it, and she goes, whoa. She goes, that is so easy. And she started doing this. She's like, I can't believe I can do that, because she normally can't do that. Normally her hands are just too small, or the detent's too strong, or they don't have good enough jimping. And the COARSE, which is this one, also did a really good job, but the Karaki is the one that takes the cake with this one. It's just hard to beat. I mean, it's just such an easy front flipper to use. It'd be very difficult for somebody to not be able to use it. That's how good a front flipper it is. So they got front flipper knife of the year. Best OEM of the year, Riat. Riat is the best OEM of the year. I think that that's without saying. I don't know how many people would disagree with that. They do such an incredible job. They always knock it out of the park, and it's very hard to beat their quality. And I know a lot of companies, try extremely hard, extremely hard. And it is hard to match some of their quality, with some of their machining and tooling and things that they probably have better access to than other companies. But, it goes without saying, they definitely do the best job when it comes to OEM work. Now, we will have a full video coming up soon of the best USA-made knives of the year, but I still wanted to have a USA-made category in this video. This next one is going to be a 2-in-1, because we have the best USA-made knife of the year, and the Demco 8020, and the TRM Shadow. So this got the best hard use USA knife of the year. This is an absolute monster, an absolute beast of a knife, and I love it. Absolutely love it. This is the best USA made EDC knife of the year. Super slicey, very thin blade, nice tall flat grind. This thing cuts so good, and the ergos are so nice in the hand. They knocked the access lock out of, I think they call it the river lock, but they knock it out of the park. They did it so good. The fit and finish is amazing on these. I know they're hard to get. So are the Demcos. I can't help that they were still made this year. So the TRM Shadow for best USA EDC knife of the year, and the best hard use USA made knife of the year, the Demco AD20. So that's the video, guys. If you guys have any disagreements, questions, comments, or concerns, leave it down in the comments section. I'd love to hear your guys' opinion on these categories. Remember, this is not the best knives of the year or anything like that. Those videos are coming up. This is just what company did it best this year for what subject. I love you guys. Thank you guys for watching. Peace.